Early hard mode unlocks a variety of unique and interesting weapons, some of them extremely rare and some of them extremely garbage. And in this video, I'm gonna take a look at one of the few weapons that seems to tick both of these boxes. It's so cooked. So without further ado, let's take a look at the blade tongue. Now there's a couple things wrong with the blade tongue, and they really start to show during real combat. Because against normal dummies, this thing had some pretty good DPS against multiple and single targets. With no accessories or armor, I was dealing about 1000 DPS to multiple dummies, which is almost as good as a platinum short sword, and around 200 on a single dummy. Before we watch it go to work on actual enemies, let's see how it works and how to obtain this thing. The blade tongue works as a true melee weapon, meaning that you have to actually hit enemies with the sword in order to deal damage. Upon hitting an enemy, however, the blade shoots an ichor bullet that pierces up to 5 enemies. Now that we know how it works, how do you get this thing? The blade tongue has a 2% chance to be fished up in the crimson biome, as long as you have 100 fishing power, which in early hard mode is pretty hard to get, so this thing ends up being even more rare. It took me multiple fishing sessions and many trips to the jungle for bait before I finally got this thing on my hook. Alright, now let's see how this thing does against actual enemies. Starting off with groups of low HP enemies like goblins, it's not looking too good. This thing was very difficult to consistently hit them with. We also see its lack of functionality during the pirate invasion, when the ranged attacks of the pirates, along with how many enemies there were, overwhelmed me when I was using the blade tongue. And finally, let's see how it does against a boss. I decided not to go against the twins or Skeletron Prime due to this thing's insane lack of range. So let's try the Destroyer. The damage was looking good in the beginning, but I was unable to keep a consistent enough amount of damage going, and with all the probes flying around me and me needing to touch the Destroyer in order to deal damage, I got a little too close to that grimy mouth of his, and he ate me. In conclusion, this would probably be a really great support weapon at best because of the ichor debuff it inflicts, but I would not recommend grinding for it unless you really want to, because a flask of ichor will basically do the same thing. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the blade tongue down in the comments section. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.